So you brought up this 1 in 4 number. Okay. So this includes, I'm just curious here, if the man had 2 drinks, the girl had 2 drinks, is that SA?
Is that what it is according to the study?
I believe there was some component, even consensual sex between 2 people who had consumed some degree of alcohol. They deemed it as SA.
If it's consensual, I don't count it as SA, but
it also depends on body weight. So 2 drinks for a 5'2" nothing versus a 6'7".
I'm sorry, you're not going to be blackout off of 2 drinks, even if you're 5 foot tall.
All I'm saying is like alcohol conversion in height and weight for 2 people who weigh very different things. Might be
I'd
different.
argue men drink more heavily than women. So I gave you an example where it's like the equivalent, but let's say that the man's more drunk than the woman. Is that SA?
Yeah, if he's more drunk,
he's not blacked out.
But how would I don't even understand how you
men
would gauge
can be
that.
raped
Like
by
if
women.
2 people go out and they get drunk, no 2 people are going to have the same level of impairment, right? No 2 people are going to have the same level of impairment. So one's always going to be slightly or even more less impaired than the other person, even if they're both drunk. I don't even know how you would quantify that. Like, how would you quantify that? Oh, well, you had 6 drinks and she had 3, so now you're equally impaired, so now you can have sex? Like, that just seems absurd on its face, right?
okay,
well, sometimes men get also more aggressive when they've had more to drink. So if they're sloppy drunk, they could still
women.
sexually.
Women get more aggressive when they drink too.
Women definitely get aggressive.
okay, so if we don't
People
agree
get
with
aggressive.
that study, then let's find another one that says what the percentage is.
There's the DOJ statistics. Damien, can you try to find the DOJ statistics? But okay, how about this? A woman has there's no alcohol involved. A woman has consensual sex. She regrets it the next day. Is this SA?
No.
Okay, but
It happens. But it happens.
I want to say a lot of things happen doesn't make it right.
But that happens more than often than not.
It does, but that's a whole.
And actually,
But
this affects African American men at higher rates, at very high rates, because there's like this racial component.
That's why I said it's
The Roe v. Wade
White.
was based on a lie.
Who was Emmett Till? Emmett Till.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
We can go on and on. That's why I said we speak from a privileged position. We speak from a privileged position. Everybody has a different reality, so you can get away with something that another person wouldn't. It's going to affect them. They might have the legal fees. They might have the means to combat these assumed negative emotions and actions of men as opposed to another man. Like right now, for example, I don't know his income, but I'm assuming he makes more than me. He might can get out of a situation like that quicker than I can based on the words of a woman. So when we just speak these general, like, oh no, it's just like this. No, it's not just like that. It's very nuanced, but it seems like we only show nuance for the woman's side and not for the man's side. Like, we have to be real about this thing. Is people take these topics from these podcasts and they run with it in real life, and people's lives really get jeopardized, especially men. Like the Roe v. Wade thing. That was based on a white woman blaming and I don't want to make it racial, but y'all brought it up.
Wait, Roe v. Wade?
The rape, Roe v. The abortion thing, that was the original, if I'm not mistaken, the original crime was a white woman blaming a black man saying he SA'd her, and from that, she got impregnated. And because of that,
It's a privacy. It's more of anything about privacy.
It was a lie. The woman who the crime that caused that law to come in to be implemented was a woman who lied on a black man who was never SA'd by him, and that they took that story and made abortions legal because of that lie. That's a fact. I think it was a documentary that they made on it off of, what's that show? What's the Candace Owens is on the network. It got
I don't know.
Bill Walsh, Matt Walsh is on it too. They did a whole documentary about it. They did a whole documentary about Roe v. Wade. It was based on a lie.
I don't know the details.
The network is the Daily Wire.
The Daily Wire. Yep. They did a documentary on it, I believe, and they was talking about how that I believe that situation was based on a woman who accused a man of saying her, and he didn't even do it, and he happened to be a black man. I wonder how his life went.
Okay, this
Good.
just took a left.
Hey, y'all brought it up.
Here, I'll move things on here shortly. I guess really quick, those of you, you said 20%, you said 15 to 20. Does this also apply to like your family members, like cousins, etc.? So like 1 in 5 of all your family members.
I mean, I was taught by my dad to protect myself from men. So, I mean,
yeah, but like, are you willing to throw like 1 out of 5 of your like blood under the water and say like 1 in 5 of your male family members are like inclined to essay a woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I know for a fact that some of them have.
Okay. Well, it does happen in families.
I never.
Actually, it happens more.
I mean, are you asking? Cause,
It happens more in
no, you
families
asked
than
based off
just
her number, never
random
mind.
people on the street. Like, typically, it's somebody that you know or somebody
It
that
is.
That's-
That is.
I want to
fair.
say
That
it's
is fair.
somebody's friend, it's somebody's
actually,
son, it's somebody's dad.
It's really
like,
sick.
Yeah, but so I guess final thing here on the bear thing. So I kind of is the position that
Oh, wait. So wait, it mostly doesn't happen by strangers.
It mostly happens.
But-
So if it
in
mostly
your
doesn't
home.
happen by strangers, wouldn't that be a strike against your logic of thinking that responding randomly with a stranger in the woods? Wouldn't that
many-
significantly
Actually-
lessen the idea that
me.
you would
I
be
still-
essayed?
so
How
take
many
back
women
what I
are
said.
alone in the
You
woods
didn't
just
get me.
spawn?
He got y'all. He got
Like
you a
how many
little bit.
women on average just spawn into the woods? Like it's a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, I know, but hypothetical situations are designed to test your logic. That's why we make them up, right? We make them up to see if we can determine what is true and what is not true, and if we're using logic and reason in order to make determinations about things, or if we're just using pure emotion or something like that. So I have no doubt that you feel that this is true, right? And there's many things I feel are true, but the reason we use a hypothetical is to test if the feeling makes any sense. And so if the idea is once we get into the nitty gritty, wait a second, almost you all agree it's mostly somebody you know who would do something like this. Wouldn't that be a strike against the idea that spawning with a random stranger in the middle of the woods, you would actually be less likely than you would even with somebody you knew?
Good point.
Not
I
necessarily.
think they're saying that the chances are just higher in general, no matter
Well,
who you're around.
The reason why it's usually higher with people who you know is because they can have you in a compromising position, like watching you while your parents are gone, like something where you're alone, where you're isolated. That's why it's typically someone
Yeah,
you
we're
know.
talking about adult women here. Adult women, this type of thing. Even adult women are
yeah.
still.
It
It
hang on,
can
hang on,
still
hang
be
on.
when you're isolated and when you're
I know,
alone.
but-
And if you're
but
in the
adult
woods, you're
women are still more
isolated and
likely-
alone.
Adult women are still more likely to be essayed by people they know, right? But most of the time, the people that they know are people like male friends of theirs, things like this. Those are the people who are and yes, it is true they're in a compromising position, but it seems like it's this intimate knowledge you have with this person that makes them feel like this is in some way appropriate, or that they can get away with it, or this kind of thing. Do you think if you respond with a random stranger in the middle of a forest, that you guys would have way bigger things to worry about than whether or not he wants to just like attack you, it just seems kind of silly, right?
Maybe it's also
I mean,
a
maybe
perspective
some.
from people on the streets, strangers on the streets
Yeah.
that come approach us and stuff
true.
too.
It makes no logical sense to choose a bear over a fucking stranger in the fucking woods. It makes no logical sense to choose a bear. Statistically, biologically, like absolutely none. We are running ourselves in circles. And it's like we are emotionally like politicizing the emotion and the feeling of course, we're not saying like, yeah, SA fucking happens and it sucks. And the statistics, it is real. That is real. That does not devalidate that point at all. Logistically, statistically, for the fact of the argument, a bear or a man, the odds of survival, immediate survival, you would choose a random man.
I would not. I would.
That makes no logical
She still
sense
thinks-
to me.
wait, really quick,
I
really
grew
quick.
up in rural Arizona, and I've been around bears. I've seen bears. I used to go camping all the time. I feel very
Okay.
comfortable
this
in
is
that.
your
I think it just
opinion.
depends
It's
on
fine.
your
It's
Hold on.
just an opinion.
We'll explore all this really quick. Pull up the meme. Get the meme going. Okay, so brown bear up to 9 feet tall, up to 1,300 pounds, claws 4 inches, by force 1,200 psi, pelt for 5 inches, speed 35 miles per hour. Kyle 5'10", 174 pounds, project engineer, said hi to you at the gym. So like, look, again, yes, there's some percentage of men that would victimize you terribly, but like, you have to attribute such a large percentage if you're doing a risk assessment of like, yeah, I'm gonna pick a bear over a man, like your risk assessment is flawed.
The question wasn't about logic. Logically,
It is a
It's a logical
Hey,
question.
let me finish. Let me finish.
That's
The pain
classy.
that someone might feel after being SA'd is going to stay with them for the rest of their life.
But is it a guarantee
Maybe they don't
that you
want to
get
deal with
SA'd?
that.
It's not a guarantee. that
It's
you
not
get
a
SA'd.
guarantee, but
You said,
but
what did you
the
say?
bear,
2%. You said it's a 2% chance.
The bear, from my experience, the bear is probably going to do one of two things. It's going to probably like eat me, or it's going to leave me alone. It's just going to
And just eat you later.
go away.
Not eat you later, just walk
It
away.
doesn't
Tripping, man.
No,
I like you.
Hang on.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking
Arizona-
about.
How many bears have you encountered in the wild?
Listen, I don't want to encounter them. I'd rather deal with a person than a damn ravaging
Exactly.
bear. This
Bear's
sounds
not
ridiculous.
guaranteed to
Exactly,
eat you
you've
because
never
you
encountered
crossed
one.
And a
paths
man
with a
ain't
bear.
guaranteed to just take your
that-
womanhood
you're
and
right.
just
You're
come
right.
on
So that's
now,
why
y'all.
this question,
Y'all got to
there
cut it
is
out.
both sides to it.
It sounds good. It sounds real good. We live in a world where your feelings matter more than logic, but she said it herself. It's not even about logic. So if it ain't about logic, it don't make sense because there's nothing in your life that logic can be missing and you can succeed from it.
It
So let's
does
cut
make
it out and be
sense.
grown up in here.
I think people are just doing it based off experience. So they're
Knock it
just
off.
based off experience.
Also, just quickly, very quickly, that Arizona only has one species of bear, black bears, and there's only about 2,000 of them in the entire state. So there's probably
they're
the
not-
likelihood they came across too many probably isn't high unless you were going to like a bear reserve or something.
Which I have been before, and also I have been immersed in wildlife from the time that I could like walk. So I feel very comfortable with animals. That's my personal opinion, and that's based off of my experience growing up around animals. I had a mountain lion in my clubhouse as a kid because I grew up on 5 acres, and I felt very safe just watching it from my fence with binoculars. I was about 10 feet away from it. My parents didn't see anything wrong with that, and they let me do that, and I feel comfortable with that.
You're
What I
behind a
don't
fence.
Let her
You're
finish.
dancing. a fence that they
your
can
new name is
easily
Dancing with
go
Mountain
over.
Lions. Dancing with Mountain
What I'm
Lions. It's
saying
just-
is I personally, this is my opinion, I feel like more comfortable with that than I would a random man who I don't know anything about.
Okay.
But he can at least.
That's my
Can I
opinion.
just say one more
Everyone's
thing?
opinions
Can I just
is
say one more
valid.
thing?
Go ahead.
At least the man, there is a potential. This, because your view is your view, but the fact that you're ignoring the ultimate potential of a human interaction over a ravaging beast.
It wasn't ignored.
Hold on, sweetheart. Hold on.
I understand.
Hold
Billy,
on,
you go.
hold
I just
on,
said
shorty,
it
let me
wasn't
finish.
ignored. It
Sweetheart,
wasn't
you got
ignored.
it. You got it. Hold on.
Thank you.
The fact that you're ignoring the potential.
It wasn't
Oh
ignored.
my
Wait,
God,
stop.
sweetheart,
Let
you
me-
triggered. I get
let me
it. I
finish.
got
Let
you.
me
I know you mad.
You got it.
The fact that you're ignoring the potential for a human interaction over a ravaging beast shows the lack of logic and the assumed negativity of men by most women. You really think if you move that fence and you and that mountain lion chill for a week, he won't attack you? Like you can't even, the fact that you're not even assuming that maybe I can talk to this man. You can't communicate to that bear at all. I don't care how many times you fed it some crackers or something. He will hurt you at a higher rate than a human being. But the fact that you're just denying the fact that maybe I can talk to this person, maybe I can communicate, you just denying all of that. You've talked to way more human men than you've ever talked to lions and bears, oh my, in your life. And you're just gonna ignore that. You're gonna ignore the fact you had that cool guy you went to school with, your cool uncle, your cool brother, the cool guy at the store, the guy that helped you get the gas that time. You're ignoring all of those scenarios of positive men for that small list of negative men as opposed to a fucking bear. Just shows to the lack of logic of the modern woman. Like you can make all the excuses you want, but this shit don't make no damn
Thank
sense.
you for assuming that it was ignored, but it was not.
It was not ignored, and also,
She sound crazy.
It was not.
Excuse me?
Go ahead.
It sounds
Go
crazy.
ahead.
Okay.
Well, that's your opinion.
It is.
Is it sexist? Are you guys willing to admit that your position is sexist? Against men?
Sexist?
Against men, yeah.
I think that
Or can you not be sexist towards men?
No, you can be sexist towards
Okay.
men.
Is it sexist?
I wouldn't say it is because it's based off of experience.